Exposure. Exposure. Over. Exposure. Under. Exposure.
Indecent.
Exposure.
Double.
Exposure. Maximum.
Maximum.
Exposure. Exposure.
Lebanese filmmaker Michelle Cameron spent 6 years creating the spine-tingling short La Douche. From the bath to the bowels of the kitchen sink, within the plumbing, something waits to be reborn when exposure continues.
I've always been inspired by Hitchcock.
Exposure.
From New Zealand comes a dark fable of fear and desire in director Alison McLean's Kitchen Sink.
People often ask me, about the sort of sensibility of New Zealand films, and I think that something about the geographical, isolation from, what seem to be the kind of centers of world culture and all that kind of thing, it sort of forces you back on yourself and to come up with your own ideas. And I think perhaps we don't feel sort of a weight of history, and in some ways that's a good thing. It's a lot easier to get started in New Zealand than here because there is a pretty generous grant, structure for short films. So I was able to make 4 short films in a row, and that was my education. The stories, that I often think of have a certain heightened reality, or an element of the fantastic, or something, or the surreal.
Yes.
Yes, hello. Would you like to buy Mr. Envelope?
No, I won't, thanks.
girlfriend at Jim's. I'm fine. Look, I've got to go. No, I won't be home this afternoon. Okay, look, I've got to go. Bye.
I just wanted to try and tell a story just through pictures, and I guess, I don't know, it just came to me. I just liked the idea that just as something was about to happen, you kind of like you delay the kind of, you know, revelation of whatever it is with some interruption. In a way, I don't like to spell out too much what it means, because I think what's interesting about it is that people bring their own interpretation to it. I like a bit of ambiguity. You know. This woman, she can't leave anything well enough alone. She just has to find the flaw and then kind of worry it. The special effects turned out, we found like a simpler solution than we thought we were going to, like this one close-up of the hair coming out of his face that ended up just being one horsehair with a drop of super glue, and she's miming the pulling. I mean, it was fun to kind of like come up with those sort of solutions and see them work so well. And then a woman who was a wig maker who had just made conventional wigs, and I said to her, could you come up with like a full body wig? And she spent 2 weeks knotting, you know, like single strands of human hair and yak hair onto this fine, like nylon mesh that was glued onto the actor's body every morning. Making Kitchen Sink was really one of the most charmed experiences I've had. I don't know if I'll ever reach that again.
An imaginative experiment reignites Cold War fears.
I really enjoy violent and aggressive behavior, but not in the irresponsible way.
A twisted ballet of violence next.
Exposure.
Filmmaker Kevin Souls takes us into the laboratory of his mind for the computer-generated experiment Descent.
I really enjoy violent and aggressive behavior, but not in the irresponsible way. And that I enjoy the, you know, kind of the way John Woo would say, the ballet of violence. I really enjoy the ballet of violent and aggressive activity. People in their lives, they find different ways to express themselves, and they find different ways to channel their I don't know, insecurities maybe, or whatnot. And I think people that are involved with film, that's what they found. This is it. This is what they do for a living. They find a way to channel all their insecurities and all of their belief systems into some massive, expressive, robust format.
The rhythmic clapping resonates inside these walls, which are hard and glossy as coal. Come on, start the show. Come on, start the show. The screen is a dim page spread before us, white and silent. The film is broken, or a projector bulb has burned out. It was difficult, even for us, old fans who've always been at the movies, haven't we, to tell which, before the darkness swept in. The last image was too immediate for any eye to register. It may have been a human figure coming outside to wish on the first star. But it was not a star, it was falling, a bright angel of death. And in the darkening and awful expanse of screen, something has kept on. It is now a close-up of the face, a face we all know. And it is just here, just at this dark and silent frame, that the pointed tip of the rocket reaches its last unmeasurable gap above the roof of this old theater. There is time, if you need the comfort, to touch the person next to you, or to reach between your own cold legs. Or if song must find you, here's one they never taught anyone to sing. A hymn by William Slothrop, centuries forgotten and out of print, sung to a simple and pleasant air of the period. Follow the bouncing ball. There is a hand to turn the time, though thy glass today be run, till the light that hath brought the towers low find the last poor prick-right one, till the riders sleep by every road, all through our crippled zone, with a face on every mountainside, and a soul in every stone. Now, everybody.
If you were to take some kind of cord, a video cord, and plug it into the back of my head after I'd finished reading Gravity's Rainbow and after watching, let's say, Dr. Strangelove and some other Cold War era films, and you took it all in a blender and just spewed it out of the back of my head, that's what Descent is. It literally is a stream of consciousness, entirely visual and up for interpretation, and not always logical or coherent. And that's intentional, because the book is not always logical and or coherent. And for a film to really represent that, that's what Descent had to be. And I decided I was going to make a thesis that was exactly what I wanted to do. It wasn't going to conform to, say, character animation. It wasn't going to conform to a narrative. It was just going to be a pretty experimental piece. And I wanted it to be filled with the ideas and the creativity that I sometimes get when I listen to a lot of music, and how sometimes visuals come into my head, and they don't necessarily have a form, but they're related to topics that I've been thinking about, and it's kind of a mishmash of things. It was trying to be wild and free, and I wasn't going to think about it too much. I just wanted to also make it as exciting as possible.
A creative mind behind the Blair Witch Project takes us out of the woods and into the war room. Next.
I have these weird occult interests that I get into.
Exposure.
Ben Rock, designer of the Blair Witch Project, calls the shots as director of his own short film, The Meeting.
This is personal prized possession. This is the camera that was used to shoot probably about 80% to 90% of the Blair Witch Project. I have the best prop. They thought they all went on eBay, but I have Heather's camera where she does the actual confessional. I bought it right after the shoot wrapped for about 400 bucks. I worked on the Blair Witch Project as a production designer. Mostly, I think, because, you know, we were all friends. It was a project that I was really excited about. I don't think I got the job because I was a great production designer. I think I got it mostly because I was just really enthusiastic about it, and I have these weird occult interests that I get into. This short that I did was in a very claustrophobic place. The rules don't really apply in this room. The whole scenario becomes more and more absurd in stages.
I just want to make a point here. What the movie guy? There's the movie guy. Well, we have no way to charge. How about you stop arguing about your stupid movie guy and address some of these lame issues? I can pay more attention to it, like the food. That's really productive. Look at the report. I got the
Everyone, be quiet.
What?
I'll tell you what, we're in real trouble here. The competition's at our doorstep, and if we don't shape up, we'll all be out of a job. Don't you guys listen to yourselves? Can anything be accomplished in this atmosphere? Look, we need to be more aware of what we're saying. I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's all right with everyone. I'd like to try something a little unconventional.
A toy?
Not just a toy. Has anyone here read Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, in junior high. Read it like 6 times. It's my favorite book.
It's like the conch. Whoever holds the puppy may speak. If someone wants to speak, raise your hand and you'll get the puppy. Nobody can speak if they don't hold the dog. Is this clear?
Uh-huh.
Is this okay with everyone?
Oh, yeah, Dad.
All right. Let's start out with last year's fiscal earnings. Anyone? Phil.
If we concentrate less on marketing and more on development, I believe we can be more efficient in profit outlook. Sean.
It is my opinion that our marketing sector is currently divided among our retail and wholesale divisions. And then, therefore, we should do something about it. Dan.
You're both correct. You're both correct in that marketing is the key issue. Now, what can we do to alleviate the pressures on the profit outlook in regards to retail? Yes, Phil.
Look, I think our marketing is just fine.
Brad, you can't speak, you don't have a puppy.
No, but it's just if you look at the figures...
Brad, the puppy, do you want it? Phil, do you mind if he uses the...
I don't need the puppy.
Brad, just stop and wait for the damn puppy.
I don't need your puppy to talk.
Brad!
No. I've got this. Bill, do something.
What I have done?
You know, you're gonna have to put him down.
I know.
If you want, I could...
No, I can do it. Just please leave.
Dan,
Please, just leave. Mr. Barton, puppy.
we were definitely trying to create like an altered sense of reality, an alternate world, where every single object, everything in the entire film is very stylized. I guess I was kind of looking at it like it was a big toy, like they're like a square peg in a round hole. And so the room is this huge round room with kind of a big yellow square peg, which is their table, kind of in the middle of it. And then they all have these toys that kind of come into play later in the film. And I think the puppy works because the puppy is like, it's a dog. It's man's best friend. It's unthreatening. This is the thing. Like when he pulls out the puppy, we're still sort of possibly in the real world, and he pulls out the puppy as if to say, I know this is silly, but we'll hold the puppy. And it seemed like his way of diffusing the anger or whatever that was at the table. It hasn't really ever worked like in some kind of overlordish corporate company. There is a very well-known company in Orlando where I grew up that is very well known for being overlordish and dark and weird, but I'm not going to talk about them too much.
Chaos in corporate America. When exposure returns.
Exposure.
This is Let's.
Oh, Sam.
Again, please.
I worship you in this condition.
Looking for some strange? That's Lex. All new episode Friday at 10 p.m. on Sci-Fi.
If everything's ready, play the tone.
I'm Sci-Fi.
Fashion photographer Andrea Jacobe directed this startling music video, Revolution Action.
Things feel empty lately.
You have put your dreams to sleep, Malcolm.
Perhaps in the subanal retentive phase, the relocation of your head inside your rectum has indeed evoked feelings of hollowness.
There's something wrong out there, sir.
What do you mean?
Everybody's losing their faces.
We really ought to investigate, Malcolm.
Revolution action! What are we gonna go for? Revolution action! What are we gonna go for? Revolution action! What are we gonna go for? Revolution action! Yeah! Revolution! pointing at my head, I realized what I could get instead. What are you gonna go for? What are you gonna go for? What are you gonna go for? Revolution action! What do you wanna go for? What do you wanna go for? What do you wanna go for? Revolution action! What do you wanna go for? Revolution action! What do you wanna go for? Revolution action! These people are in power, but none of them is one of us. Press the media any hour. Now tell me, what's wrong with us? In the lights on our side, I don't wanna know. You wanna tell me my game? You know I'm just yours. Bring it to the center, and you're gone. You hold a cigarette like you're trying to understand. But what if the next person near you is taking the truth out of your hands? Revolution action! Revolution action! Revolution action! What are we gonna go for?
Re-expose yourself to tonight's short film selections and see extended interviews with their creators. Log on to exposure.sci-fi.com.
Exposure.
I got something that makes me want to shout. Doing bad to do good. I got something that tells me what it's all about.
There's a battle going on here for souls.
I got soul.
See you in hell.
I'm super bad.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Now go out there and kick evil's ass. A sci-fi original series, Good vs. Evil. Fridays at 9 on Sci-Fi.
Watch me.
Image Software hired animator Steven Bender after seeing this student film. Here is Identity 9.
Please choose your identity. Identity incompatible. Please choose your identity. Identity incompatible. Please choose your identity. Please choose your identity. Identity complete.
The future of film continues every week on Exposure.